All right, let's explore these bookshelves first. So I have 3 shelves that we're going to look at on the left side of the building. And up here on this shelf, I keep classics and books that have Newbery Awards. So over here we have The Whipping Boy, Mountain Born, however you say that, Mick Schrock, and The Door in the Wall, Rabbit Hill, Poppy books. We have not tried yet, but I have one copy to remind me. The Story of the Treasure Seekers, The Cricket in Times Square, Hardy Boys, one copy of that. And if we try and like it, then I could get more. The 21 Balloons, Lassie, The Owls, Owls in the Family, The Sign of the Beaver, another copy of Door in the Wall, The Trumpet of the Swan, The Indian in the Cupboard, Sounder, A Single Shard, Ragweed, which is I think the same as Poppies. I should probably have those together. The Summer of the Swans, what is this one? Oh, The Cry of the Crow, Shiloh, The 100-Penny Box, A Lion to Guard Us, When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit, The Family Under the Bridge. Sorry, I'm on a chair and my neck is killing me right now. The Railway Children, Call It Courage, Number the Stars, Peter Pan, Anne of Green Gables, The Yearling, The Bridge to Terabithia, The Giver, Tuck Everlasting, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, The Little House on the Prairie series, The Chronicles of Narnia, Moby Dick, Swiss Family Robinson, Heidi, Charlotte's Web, 2 copies of that, and 2 copies of Stuart Little, 2 copies of Dr. Dolittle, just by happenstance. I didn't purposely buy 2 copies, probably just book box finds. And that way my students can pair up and read because I run a homeschool hybrid. Oliver Twist, Robinson Crusoe, Huckleberry Finn, The Secret Garden, Little Women, The Quiet, Little Women, and Little Men. All right, looking at the next shelf. This shelf is missionary books on this side and other like Christian type classics, and then some other series that are good for probably 3rd and 4th graders. All right, so I have picture book here, missionary picture book, Trial and Triumph, Hero Tales, Missionary Treasury, Girlhood. That was recommended on a YouTube channel, like a womanhood coming of age book, like an older fashioned one, I guess. Prudence with the Millers, Wisdom with the Millers. These are like short stories, story time with the Millers that teach like morals, choice stories for children, teach morals and biblical truths through stories. When You Need a Missionary Story, a very old classic missionary book that I think is hard to come by. Heaven for Kids, The Bible Smuggler. This is a good author for kind of interesting books on that type of topic. I have no idea if that's any good. I got it free. My Angel Named Herman. These are all the, Christian Heroes Then and Now books that you've probably seen if you've been homeschooling any time. Then this series is called the Jungle Doctor Missionary Series. Then there's Lamplighter books are really good. I only have 1 or 2 so far, but Lamplighter books, look them up. Really good Christian type fiction that teaches good things. This is the Grandmother's Attic series, good for young girls. This is the Campground Kids series. There's a lot more of them. I just have 5. This is a series, 10 boys who use their talents. There's different, 10 girls who, different ones. Mary Joan and Her Bible, the I Survived books. My son has been enjoying those. He needs little breaks from time to time, wants to switch gears, but then he'll come back to them. The Imagination Station series. He's in the middle of I think book 17 now. These are fun. There's 4 of them. These are The Adventures of Mumford. They're like a raindrop who goes back in time and does like a few like historical fiction type books. This is a new series, The Dream Traveler's Quest. And all my books I pick based on a very high criteria of morality and, you know, my Christian values. So if that's something you like, then you can know that I really did look these books up and make sure they were high quality. So this is the Goldtown Beginnings, or no, Goldtown Adventures. So before this series is actually this series down here, Goldtown, oh, not this one, this one, Goldtown Beginnings. So like what you do is you have your younger elementary school students start with this series, and then if they liked it later on, you know, even if it's a few years later, you can try this series. It's the same character, older. And then I have some laugh out loud joke books and these Winnie the Pooh original like poetry books. All right, now this shelf is for younger elementary, middle to, or even later elementary actually, like 3rd, 4th grade, I would say, and 2nd grade. So over here would probably be like your 1st and 2nd grade. You can start with Mercy Watson series. That's like a pig. I'll show you. That's just a basket of stickers and stamps for my students. And then these are all the, what's his name? Nate the Great books. Then these are Maple Ridge series. There's 6 in the series. I'm missing one. I lent it out and I haven't got it back yet. And my son really enjoyed these. They're very good beginning chapter books with lots of pictures and big words. This is the same type of series by the same author as the one who did the Goldtown Beginnings, but probably geared more towards girls, although a girl could enjoy, you know, that other series, and a boy could enjoy this if they want. It's called Andy's Pony Trouble, and or I should say the whole series is called Circle C Beginnings, and it's like, you know, girl and like her horse and stuff like that. It's got 6 books in it. This is my son's first and favorite series, The Secret of the Hidden Scrolls, 9 books, really good 3rd grade chapter book set, but even older or slightly younger, I would say 2nd to 4th grade would be the target age for that, but younger, like I read it to him when he was 4.5 and he loved it, and then he read it later. Good Dog, this is a good replacement for Dog Man if you aren't so sure about that series. Really cute. And then Flat Stanley books are good, you know, chapter books for new chapter book readers, or even old chapter book readers. Like my son, he actually enjoyed these this year as a 3rd grader. A to Z Mysteries. My son, I pulled out some of them. Some of them I wasn't a big fan, like Zombies and Haunted this or that. I kind of put them behind, so I'm like, he could read them because I think it's like soft. It's not like Goosebumps or something, but anyway, Dead Sea Scrolls. My son loved these. They're funny, and they are written by the same, I think, person who did VeggieTales, or someone that was part of VeggieTales. So, and then these are just like treasuries, like classics, like James Herriot's Classic Treasury for Children. He's an animal doctor and has beautiful stories and illustrations. The Fairy Tale Treasury by the Random House. Aesop's Fables. The Winnie the Pooh Treasury by Disney. The Little Pilgrim's Progress. We've read a couple versions of Pilgrim's Progress. My son absolutely loves Pilgrim's Progress, and he read this whole thing just recently. The Peter Rabbit Treasury. Some of the stories are a little weird, to be honest, but I love, you know, the stories we're all familiar with by Beatrix Potter. This is a really fun book. I read it at least once every year to my kids. The Treasure Tree. My younger children, I've just enjoyed reading Curious George to them over the years. So we have actually like all of them. My mom bought us, and there's another one that's yellow. And then the Berenstain Bear Treasury, and I have more single Berenstain Bear books on the other shelf in the other room. All right, moving on. Okay, so on this shelf we have a lot of the Animal Arc books. Do you remember those from when you were a kid, mamas? And then what I just found out recently is there's Animal Arc. That's for like, that's like a 4th grade level. And then, of course, a lot of kids can, that's what I find. Like once your kids are in chapter books, it's like, you know, you focus on not necessarily the level. It might be a year younger, or a year older, or right on track, but it's more about them just reading books they enjoy. And so anyways, But then the Animal Arc Pets is for like, is like the step before Animal Arc. And there's only 18 books in the series, so it's slightly easier, more of a 3rd grade level. These are the American Girl books. And then over here, I have more Animal Arc books that couldn't fit. I have the Left Behind for Kids series. I have Sugar Creek Gang. This is cool because it's actually the main character's a Christian boy and a Christian family. And, you know, they actually pray and solve problems in a way and point to Christian character and good choices and stuff. Anyway, but it's like boys that, you know, that kind of live back when boys could go out and have more independence and freedom and, you know, have mysteries to solve and, you know, different situations that arise. Okay, Green Ember series. So this is the first Green Ember series, these 4 books. And then this is like the prequel, the, let's see, the old Italia ones. And then this is like the one that came after, the Archer ones. Then this is a really neat series of 4, like those kids that maybe have an interest in like this type of artistry, kind of like that, almost Asian, but not. I'm not like a big fan of like some of those Asian type novels, honestly. Some of them, I don't know, maybe I'm being judgy. But this one, I had a student who I could tell she kind of leans that way, and it was like by a Christian author and one I knew I could trust with the morality in the book. From reviews, it seemed fine. You know, if there was anything, it was like appropriate for a kid her age, a 5th grader, 6th grader. And so it's a 4-book series. And this one is called The Prince Warriors. I think these ones are probably geared towards, you know, 5th grade, middle school. I'm sure a 4th grader could read them too if they're really into reading. And even a high schooler could read these if they want to. Then I have The Jungle Book, which my 5th grader started. Not my 5th grader. When I say my 5th grader, I mean the students that I homeschool for other people, for my homeschool hybrid. Okay, I've got up here like more like that's history books and historical fiction books and then science. Let me get a chair. So up here, I got these from my husband's aunt when she was moving. These are Cornerstone to Freedom books, like old books from, I don't know, maybe the 70s, but it's like a bunch of different picture books on different topics of American history, basically. We have not read those yet, but I'm sure they're great. Well, I'm pretty sure. My America, the 1st grade Abeka history reader. Then I have the 2nd grade Abeka history reader, the 3rd grade Abeka history reader. These are great to use as your whole curriculum or just supplements, or like in my case, if I have a student whose parent is doing the history at home, I can lend them these. Or next year I might just do this with my whole hybrid. Or the upper elementary hybrid, and kind of bridge between a few different ages. Then I have the 4th grade Abeka history, and I have some missionary I guess that'd be history, but missionary picture books for kids. Then I have a Leonardo da Vinci book. This is another historical book, Songbird, Seaman. It's Lewis and Clark. And their dog Seaman is, I guess it's told through his eyes perhaps. Surviving Jamestown. These are by Christian Liberty Press, The Story of Inventions, The Story of Pilgrims, Francis Scott Key, Samuel Francis Smith. Got a historical type book, William Bradford, Pilgrim Boy of Plymouth Plantation. Primary source, these are primary sources. You know, Egyptian also themed kind of book. Pages in History. This is modern history, and this one will be first. Ancient history, so it's kind of like could be your whole swing of history 1 year or 2 years if you do 1 volume each year. Runaway Home. Calico Bush. I put this over here probably just because I have room on the other side. Bound for Oregon. Once on This Island. George Washington. Squanto, Friend of Pilgrims. The Courage of Sarah Noble. Lily and Miss Liberty. It's a young kind of historical reader. Thomas Edison, the Wright brothers. These are fun books to have if your child's interested in history. They're the Who HQ books. And so these are they have different box sets. So like these are the President's box set. And then this one is the Inventor's box set. And then I have these other random ones. My son really enjoyed the Tuttle Twins books. So I got all of those. I'm not going to show you every one of them, but you can look them up. And then these books I have on another shelf. The Theology, it's called Theology, and then their other book is wonderful. It's on the Psalms. The Book of Virtues, Everyday Graces. I've not tried those yet. Okay, science. Answers from Genesis. Ken Ham books for kids. And more Christian Liberty books, but like they're science readers for each grade level. It's a great way to just kind of get in more of that natural science and from a worldview that appreciates our Creator. The Burgess Animal book, the Burgess Bird book. So these are actually stories that as you listen to them, they're teaching you about birds and animals. And you can get these free on YouTube and just let your kids listen to them, by the way, which is what ended up happening. So I didn't even need to end up buying the print version. These are cool books. I Walk in the Desert, and it has like a walk in different biomes. Then these are fun books from a long time ago. Why does it thunder and lightning? It's like different questions and answers, and it's very elementary. So like a kindergarten through second or third grader would appreciate these. Then these are the Abeka Science, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and first and kindergarten. My America, it's the first grade Abeka History. Then there's these Hollings books. I got all of her books. They're good for like geography and science. Pagoo. Paddle to Sea. Tree in the Trail. Minute Mississippi. And Seabird. Oh, but on this shelf I forgot that I have the My Heart Christ's Home, and then the William J. Bennett books. I think they're pretty good, but some of it is like not, that great. The Children's Book of Home and Family. So you just have to be that right mood and time for it. It's definitely stuff to appreciate about it. Tell Me the Secrets of the Vine. It's a Max Lucado book. And the Children's Book of Faith. All right, these are some of the newer books I got that I haven't shelved yet. Mr. Pomper's Penguins. We're really enjoying that one currently. Island of the Blue Dolphins. Miracle on Maple Hill. Caddy Woodlawn. And again, I look up all these books before I get them. Carry On Mr. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Bowditch. The Matchlock Gun. The Secret Valley by Clyde Robert Bulla. And I have another book by him. Surprise for a Cowboy. My son read that and enjoyed it. These are good beginning before you do like the real Little House books, the junior ones. This is a fun book, The Oak Tree Club. My son really enjoyed listening to me read this during like hurricane season. It's like getting ready for a hurricane, and it's like these characters. And then another one of those, Hard Time on the Prairies. Farmer Boy Days. The Littles are good beginning chapter books, also kind of like Flat Stanley and some of those other ones I showed you. And then this one's just a random one that was fun, How Bullfrog Found His Sound. Okay, and these are books I've had on my last video, but a lot of those you saw were pretty new. The Wind in the Willows. Honestly, sometimes it's a little wordy. Raggedy Ann and Andy. It's okay. Not super exciting, but still kind of cool book. The Making of a Knight. Prince Martin books. It Began with a Parachute. It was a neat story. My son enjoyed these. I'm not a big fan of these types of books, but you know, they're fun once in a while. I wouldn't recommend these. I'm kind of like picky about literature. I'm surprised. It was one of those situations. I forgot. I think he was breaking into chapter books, and we decided to give it a try. Little Pilgrim's Progress. And then you have to hide them because you want them to actually read better books. And every once in a while, let him reread them because he just enjoys them for fun. Ink on His Fingers. That's another one of those that actually I should put on the other shelf. The Louise Vernon books. It went with the Bible Smugglers. It's not like a series. They're each like standalone stories, but they're by the same author and same kind of books. Topically, Robin Hood. He enjoyed that. I read these to him. He hasn't read them to himself yet. Jungle Doctors, Fables. Those were really fun. Those were good memories reading those to him, actually. The Boxcar books. I read these to him, but then he kind of lost interest, so we moved on to other things. My Father's Dragon. I remember having to edit some of that because I read it to him when he was young. Like verbally edit as I read to him. The Motorcycle books. I don't think I read the third one. I was like set in a school setting. I was like, oh, we're homeschoolers. That was like before I started homeschooling him. I was like, I don't want to read books set in a public school. I was like, we're homeschoolers. The House at Pooh Corner. We read that. I read that to him when he was younger. Winnie the Pooh and The Sword in the Tree. Paddington books. The first book had like a weird chapter I didn't like with like crystal balls and stuff, but otherwise the first book was pretty good. And then he lost interest, so I never finished reading the series to him. All right, well, I don't have time to go through all of these books today, so that'll be a whole nother video if you're interested. And then I have 2 bins in my room of kindergarten select picks for this coming year for my kindergarten students in the hybrid that I will go through in another video probably. So stay tuned, and I don't know when that part 2 is coming, but I'm going to try to get it out to you.